Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nicole Wolf and I am a paranormal romance writer, although I might be dabbling in historical romance soon, so stay tuned for that. So this week I want to talk about the 90 Days to Your Novel Challenge and how even pantsers can join the challenge, because the challenge is kind of about brainstorming, outlining, and writing your novel in 90 days, and pantsers don't outline. So I'm going to talk about how even pantsers can still do the challenge. So stick around. So first, I want to talk about what is a pantser versus a plotter. So a pantser is basically somebody who does not outline their novel at all, meaning they don't go through and think about their scenes ahead of time. They don't write or organize their scenes before they start writing. And some pantsers don't really delve into their characters very much. They kind of just sit down. They have a basic overall idea for what they want their story to be, and they just start writing right away. A plotter, on the other hand, is someone who actually thinks about what scenes they want in their novel ahead of time, writes them down, and organizes them. And they also, some plotters do more in-depth character development than others. But that's the basic difference between what a plotter is and what a pantser is. So obviously, if you are a plotter, 90 Days to Your Novel Challenge is going to be like, well, that makes sense because I outline my novels and I still need to write them. So, but pantsers, on the other hand, might be like, well, I don't outline, so what am I supposed to do until we get to the part where we're writing? So that is what today's video is all about. So to start off, I actually want to read a short passage from the 90 Days to Your Novel book that we'll be following in order to kind of help start explaining how pantsers can use the 90 Days to Your Novel challenge as well as plotters. But this video is more about pantsers because I feel like it's obvious why plotters can use this. So, okay, so in these next weeks, you'll be brainstorming, developing, and scrutinizing the details of your novel. Characters, plots, conflicts, settings, voice, point of view, etc. And eventually, you'll draft your initial working outline, the blueprint of your novel itself. And though you may be tempted to skip ahead and begin writing your novel's first draft, pantsers, I caution you against it. You first want to make sure your ideas are solid, your characters are complex, and your plots are sustainable. If you do the necessary work in the planning stages, you'll leave little to chance when you sit down to write your novel. Remember, our first ideas are not always our best ideas. Each day during these first 3 weeks, you'll be introduced to a specific component of novel writing, and you'll be asked to complete an assignment. These assignments are designed to address key elements of your novel, and each assignment will build upon the next. You may end up using some of your assignments from these weeks verbatim in the first draft of your novel. Other assignments are simply intended to help you develop and flesh out the direction of your ideas and will not be used directly, though likely indirectly, in your work. Okay, so what does that little passage really mean? And how does it pertain to pantsers? Because obviously you heard the word outline and planning and all of that stuff that you're like, no! So I cheated a little bit and I looked at some of the assignments in the first couple of weeks. So many of the assignments in the first 3 weeks are actually experimental scene writing. Which is basically you sitting down and just writing a random scene. Now, I mean, not as random as I guess most pantsers do. Like, there's obviously an assignment and they're asking you to write a more specific type of scene, but they're still asking you to write a scene. It's an experimental scene, which means it's a scene that you don't know if you're going to end up using in your first draft or not. It's just kind of a writing assignment for you to kind of get to know some kind of component of your novel, whether that's your character or your point of view or your voice or whatever it is. And in my mind, I'm like, isn't that kind of what pantsers do anyway? Like, when pantsers sit down and start writing a novel, that's what they're doing. Like, they're basically just sitting down and writing random scenes that come to their mind. Like, that's what they do? I'm not a pantser, but I mean, I've watched plenty of videos of other pantsers doing this. Kate Kavanaugh, I think, is one that comes to mind. And a lot of times what these pantsers will call these is not a first draft. They'll call this their zero draft. Which is after they're done writing their zero draft, then that's when they'll go through, read their zero draft. And that's when they'll kind of like pick through it and be like, this scene doesn't work, or, this has to change, or, that's when they'll almost like go back and almost outline their novel after they've written their zero draft, or they'll organize their novel after they've written their zero draft. So basically I'm saying pantsers can kind of look at this challenge, even though it's talking about outlining your novel. You can kind of look at this challenge as a way to complete your zero draft and your first draft in 90 days. So the first 3 weeks are basically for the brainstorming and the zero drafts, because a lot of the assignments are going to have you writing scenes. So, like, that's kind of what you want to do, right? Like, you're a person that's like, well, I don't like to do rigid outlines. Like, I don't like to just like write on note cards or, write on a whiteboard, my scene ideas, or, whatever it is about outlines that you're just like, no. That's not exactly what's going on. Like, a lot of those first 3 weeks are literally experimenting with different scenes and different voices and different characters and all that stuff. So a lot of the assignments are things that you pantsers would probably be doing during your zero drafts anyway. Okay, and then weeks 4 and 5 are dedicated to actually assessing what would be your zero drafts. So weeks 4 are delving into the actual scene elements, and then week 5 is about delving into the characters that you've created during the first 3 weeks while you were writing your zero drafts. And then weeks 6 through 12 are for you to edit your zero drafts and create a first draft. Okay, guys, well, that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button so you know when the next couple of videos in this video series are getting uploaded. I am planning on uploading every weekend. I just don't know if it's a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, but every weekend. I have all of the links for this down below. I did create a Facebook group, so make sure to check that link out below. That's just a place for us to kind of congregate. Everybody that's participating in this 90 Days to Your Novel Challenge can join the group on Facebook, and that's where we can kind of chat and get excited and post our questions about each week's assignment or assignments. Post our completed assignments if anybody's looking for some feedback on those assignments, and all of that happy good stuff. I also have links to this book in the description below as well, in case you're still looking for a copy before the challenge starts on February 1st. So those links are also down below. Okay, guys, that is it. And I will see everybody in next week's video. Bye!